After a breakup, I went to a bar to get drunk and was suddenly drugged. When I woke up, I found sleeping next to me was my domineering childhood friend, my childhood nightmare. Just as I was about to secretly pick up my clothes and run, my childhood friend picked up a pair of scissors and looked at me with a meaningful smile. Before I could even think of an excuse, she lunged forward and kissed me. Then, not only did she transfer me 10 million yuan as spending money, but she also said she was scared of sleeping alone at night and told me to move in with her. The sky gradually darkened, the sun set. After breaking up with my ex-girlfriend Voldemort, though I was emotionally hurt, it didn't affect my cooking at all. The customers who came after hearing about my reputation all gave me a thumbs up in praise. Soon the evening rush was over, and after work, Yang Wei forcibly dragged me to a bar. I looked at the flashy, neon-lit bar in front of me and asked doubtfully, "Why did you bring me here?" "Of course, it's to help you get over your breakup and experience some extraordinary fun. You'll know when you get there. It's on me, so just enjoy yourself." Yang Wei grinned. The two of us entered the bar and generously booked a private room right away, then called for two beautiful girls. Entering the private room, there were 2 glasses of pink liquor on the table and 2 cases of beer on the floor. Since I was already here, I walked over, picked up a glass, and downed it. It's sweet. Tastes pretty good. Yang Wei led 2 girls in black stockings into the private room. When he saw the empty glass in my hand, he froze on the spot. "You drank it already?" Hearing that, I was taken aback and asked doubtfully, "Aren't you supposed to drink when you come to a bar? If not now, then when? Could it be?" Before I could finish my sentence, the glass in my hand fell to the floor. My eyes rolled back and I collapsed onto the sofa. My body started to heat up. Seeing this, Yang Wei said helplessly, "Oh well, getting straight to the point is fine too. I'll leave him to you girls. My buddy is still a virgin, so be gentle with him. Don't worry, boss." The 2 girls in black stockings giggled in unison and helped my increasingly hot body out of the private room, heading towards the room outside. In a daze, I felt myself being thrown onto a bed. My clothes were being taken off by someone, and my whole body felt itchy. Just then, the door was kicked open. "Who are you? What do you want?" Bodyguards suddenly rushed in and chased the 2 girls out. Then, a woman in a black dress with an extraordinary aura walked in. "Miss, young Master Wang seems to have been drugged." "I know, you may all leave. Lock the door." Without my permission, no one is allowed to enter. Soon, I felt like I was in the middle of the ocean. My heavy heart felt incredibly light. It seemed like all my negative emotions had found an outlet. The next morning, a warm ray of sunlight shone through the window onto my eyelids. I slowly opened my eyes. Before me was an exquisite oval face. Her snow-white skin looked so supple you could squeeze water from it. There wasn't a trace of makeup on her face, yet she was more beautiful than any woman I had ever met. More importantly, this beauty was wearing very little. From my angle, I could see her snow-white cleavage. I immediately gulped. Especially when I saw the clothes scattered on the floor, I immediately thought of something. I gritted my teeth, cursing Yang Wei in my head. This bastard actually dared to take me to a prostitute. Some good brother he is. But are all prostitutes this beautiful nowadays? Times have changed. Without much time to think, I stealthily got out of bed and started getting dressed, preparing to escape. Just then, a cold voice came from behind me. "Where do you think you're going?" I immediately froze. I turned my head to look. Sure enough, I found that the woman who was supposed to be asleep was now awake. Her phoenix-like eyes were staring intently at me. Seeing this, I thought it was because I hadn't paid her yet. I pretended to be calm as I finished dressing, then took out all the cash from my wallet, probably about 2 or 3,000. I placed it on the table and said a little awkwardly, "Last night was just an accident. This should be enough, right? I have to go now." After saying that, I quickly opened the door and bolted. The bodyguards at the door saw this but didn't stop me. In the room, looking at the stack of cash on the table, on Shi Roshui's beautiful face, a breathtaking smile appeared. The smile was a little teasing. "So many years have passed, this little tail is still as cute as ever. I really can't wait to play with you." But because I left in a hurry, I didn't notice the red stain on the bedsheet. At the same time, as soon as I left the hotel, I immediately called Yang Wei. As soon as the call connected, I exploded with anger. "Damn it, I thought you were my brother, but you dared to take me to a prostitute? Fine, you took me to a prostitute, but you didn't even pay. Didn't you say it was on you?" On the other end, Yang Wei, still half asleep, was berated. He dazedly scratched his head and said in confusion, "What's gotten into you so early in the morning? Didn't you chase away the girls I called? What payment?" Hearing that, I was also stunned. I vaguely remembered last night in my head, the sounds I heard after I passed out. Could it be that someone took advantage of me? And most importantly, I even paid for it. My heart ached instantly. I was filled with immense regret. If I had known, I wouldn't have gone to the bar last night. Now look at this. Getting slept with is one thing, but I also lost over 2,000 yuan. It's a huge loss. Just then, a black Bentley sped up from behind and stopped right in front of me. Before I could react, 2 big burly men got out of the car. They skillfully tied me up and threw me into the back seat. Hey, what are you doing? Let me go!" It all happened in the blink of an eye. Within just 1 minute, the whole series of actions was completed. The Bentley started up again and quickly drove away. This performance left a bystander on the street stunned, his mouth wide open. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief and silently gave a thumbs up. Nothing more to say, just 2 words: professional. At this moment, in the back seat of the Bentley, I was lying on the car mat with a blank expression, a delicate little foot stepping on my face. Shiro Oshue was now wearing a black dress, her snow-white hair draped over her shoulders. The whole car was filled with a faint fragrance from her body. She looked down, a teasing smile at the corner of her mouth. Little Wang Yu, you want to run after sleeping with me? There's no such easy escape. I came back from abroad especially for you. Did you miss me? By now, I had recognized the identity of this woman in the black dress. Before my father passed away, he was the chairman of a listed company, and the woman before me was my childhood playmate, the eldest daughter of the Shi family, Shi Ruoshue. You could say we grew up together until Shi Ruoshue finished elementary school and went abroad to study. That's when we lost touch. Most importantly, Shi Ruoshue had a strong personality since she was a child, which caused me a lot of suffering. Now that she's back, the days ahead will probably be. After a moment, I forced a stiff smile and said with a grimace, Sister, last night was truly an accident. Please let me go. Can we just pretend nothing happened? Pretend nothing happened? Shi Ruoshue pressed down with her foot, her small, fair feet tormenting me relentlessly. An immense sense of satisfaction welled up inside her, and a cold smile appeared on her face. In your dreams. From now on, you belong to me. If you're obedient, you'll have plenty of spending money. But if you're not, you know what the consequences will be. She had waited for so many years. After finally meeting me, how could she possibly let go? With that, Shi Ruoshue lifted me up with one hand, and to my utter shock, her soft, fiery red lips pressed directly against mine. My eyes widened as I tried to resist, but all my limbs were tied. I could only let her force herself on me. This domineering and forceful nature that allowed no refusal hadn't changed even after so many years. Just as Shi Ruoshue was getting more and more into it, her phone rang. It was like a bucket of cold water had been thrown on her. She answered the phone, annoyed. Hello, what is it? Her mother, Liu Shunya's voice came from the phone. Shi Ruoshue, are you trying to rebel? Didn't I tell you to report to the company for your new post today? Why haven't you gone yet? The entire branch office is waiting for you. Hearing this, Shi Ruoshue was displeased and retorted without a hint of weakness. Didn't you want a son-in-law? I'm working on it. Don't bother me unless it's important. After saying that, she hung up directly. It was then that I said indignantly, You're a crazy woman. This is kidnapping, it's illegal. No one knew how much pain I was in at that moment. I just broke up yesterday, and today I was forcibly kissed by my childhood nightmare. What the hell kind of world is this? The sudden phone call ruined Shi Ruoshue's mood. She ordered the bodyguards to take me back to my restaurant. Before leaving, she tossed me a business card and said flatly, I have some business to take care of. You can call me if you need anything. See you tonight. With that, the car drove off. Thrown on the ground, tied up, I struggled fiercely. I cried out, at least untie me first. Fortunately, just then, Yang Wei came out of the restaurant carrying a trash can. Seeing me squirming on the ground like a maggot, he walked over and asked curiously, Brother Wang, playing rough, are we? Even into bondage? Is this cosplay? This man is so adorable. His looks are exactly my type. Shi Ruoshue looked at her phone, where the photo album was filled entirely with pictures of me. She scrolled through them tirelessly, thinking about how I had struggled so fiercely just now. A mocking smile played on her lips. It seems we haven't seen each other in a long time. You'll have to discipline this guy a little. 9 a.m. At the foot of the Kongmong Group's Jinjiang branch building, after hearing that headquarters was sending a new CEO, all the senior managers had been waiting here since 8 a.m. They waited for a full hour, but no one dared to show the slightest dissatisfaction. Just then, at the end of the street, a black Bentley drove over. The car's unique design stood out on the road. Although this Bentley looked modest, its price was over 3 million yuan, completely out of reach for ordinary people. The car slowly stopped in front of the building. The senior managers, led by the vice president, hurried forward to greet her. The car door slowly opened, and a pair of beautiful, long, straight legs stepped out first. Black high heels with red soles touched the ground, and her whole body exuded a faint, cold aura. Shi Ruoshue stepped out. Welcome, Kiyoshi. Seeing the sycophancy in their eyes, Shi Ruoshue faintly lifted her eyelids, her gaze cold and arrogant. She walked straight into the building, ignoring them. The employees in the company sat upright, not daring to slack off in the slightest. A new broom sweeps clean. No one knew who this fire would burn. The group entered the high-level meeting room. As her secretary and best friend, Lin Xingyu, was already waiting here. Seeing Shi Ruoshue enter, she handed her a folder. This is the company's financial report for the last 2 years, as well as the situation in various departments. Shi Ruoshue directly set it aside. After sitting in the chairman's seat, her cold gaze swept over the senior managers as she said flatly, Who called my mother just now? Step forward voluntarily. Everyone hesitated for a moment, then simultaneously looked towards Lin Xingyu, who was standing next to Shi Ruoshue. The meaning was all too clear. Lin Xingyu looked embarrassed. Shi Ruoshue's gaze towards her was murderous, her phoenix eyes glinting with coldness. She gritted her teeth and said, You really are a good best friend to me. I finally get a chance to be intimate with my baby, and you just had to bother me at this moment. As punishment, you're demoted to the logistics department to do odd jobs for a month. Yes, COC. After the small incident, the high-level meeting officially began. No one knew what the meeting was about, but when the employees saw the senior managers coming out of the meeting room, drenched in sweat, they knew immediately that the newly appointed CEO was not someone to be trifled with. In the CEO's office, it was lunchtime. Lin Xingyu was preparing to find a hotel, a five-star one, to order takeout from. After all, this young lady's palate was exceptionally picky. But she was stopped by Shiruo Shui. A faint smile appeared on her lips. She gave Lin Xingyu an address and ordered, "I want to eat the Chinese stir-fry from here." Hearing this, Lin Xingyu gave her a surprised look, but didn't say anything. Although she had just arrived, she knew this Chinese restaurant was very famous. Perhaps the young lady wanted to try something new. Okay, but it seems this place doesn't offer delivery service. I'll go pick it up myself. On the other side, in the Chinese restaurant, business was still booming. The dozen or so tables in the shop were all full. Even the air was filled with the rich aroma of food. The scene was noisy and bustling. "Boss, one order of chop suey for me. I'll have a braised crucian carp." "Boss, hurry up. Get those unicorn arms of yours moving. I've been waiting for over 10 minutes. In the kitchen, Yang Wei and I were flipping wok so fast our hands were a blur, endlessly repeating the motion of adding ingredients and stir-frying. Occasionally, we'd add a little of our secret sauce. This was all my own creation, which was also the reason why, among the dozens of Chinese restaurants around, only my Chinese restaurant could stand out. Since most of the customers were office workers, they didn't eat for very long, so the customer turnover was very fast. At this moment, Lin Xingyu walked into the shop and shouted directly at the counter staff, "Bring me all of your signature dishes. I want them to go. Make them right now. I can pay extra." The moment she said that, the customers at the surrounding tables gave her a strange look. Sister Wang behind the counter was stunned for a moment, then gave a faint smile. "I'm sorry. There are many customers ahead of you. Our restaurant doesn't allow cutting in line. If you can wait, we'll place your order for you now." Hearing this, Lin Xingyu didn't care. She directly took out several dozen red bills from her wallet and placed them on the table, saying flatly, "Is this okay now?" Sister Wang smiled and said nothing, nor did she take the money. A customer waiting for his food next to her kindly reminded her, "Miss, you should just wait patiently. Getting food in order is a rule set by Boss Wang. It's specifically to deal with people like you who want to cut in line. Rich or poor, it's all the same. No matter how much money you offer, it's useless." Everyone's stares made Lin Xingyu feel extremely embarrassed. She stomped her foot and angrily walked out of the restaurant, muttering, refusing to earn money when it's offered. "Aren't you an idiot?" Soon, Shiruo Shui learned what had happened here. She didn't say much but drove over directly. Just when everyone thought she was there to cause trouble, they saw Shiruo Shui sit right down in my boss's chair. She didn't order any food, just played on her phone. Time passed, second by second, minute by minute. The customers in the restaurant gradually thinned out. By 2 p.m., all the customers had left. In the end, only Shiruo Shui and Lin Xingyu remained. Getting the news, I came out from the kitchen. I looked at the two women with an unfriendly gaze and said flatly, "What exactly do you want?" At that moment, Lin Xingyu thought to herself, daring to make this difficult young lady wait for so long. This kid is definitely dead. He totally deserves it. Then, in the next second, she saw Shiruo Shui smile brightly at me and say, "I like men with principles. The more principled you are, the more I like it. I'm hungry. Come home and cook for me, hubby." The moment those last two words were spoken, whether it was Sister Wang or Lin Xingyu, both had expressions as if they had seen a ghost. They couldn't believe their ears. "Are these two married?" "I'm warning you, don't talk nonsense." "Who is your husband?" I shouted hurriedly. Seeing my attempt to explain, Shiruo Shui was immediately displeased. A few more degrees of coldness appeared in her eyes, and her voice became much colder. "Come with me, or should I tie you up and take you? I'll give you one last chance to choose." "Damn it, am I really afraid of you? I've been cautious my whole life, and I absolutely won't back down from anyone." Immediately, I yelled towards the kitchen, "Number 2, number 3, someone's here to cause trouble, come out and help." After the shout, there was immediate movement from the kitchen. Yang Wei rushed out in his chef's uniform, holding a large soup ladle in his hand. His eyes were wide. "Who's tired of living, daring to cause trouble on my turf?" Then came a bark. A yellow dog, half a person tall and 1.5 meters long, emerged from the kitchen and stood protectively in front of me. With my two brothers protecting me, I immediately felt much more confident. I held my head high, looking down on Shiruo Shui, and said with a cold snort, "Miss, I'll give you 2 choices now. Either you leave on your own, or I throw you out." Looking at me, full of rebellious genes, Shiruo Shui smiled. For some reason, when she saw this man resisting, she couldn't suppress a surge of excitement within her. She really wanted to trample him under her feet like this. He was just so worth disciplining. After a brief moment of excitement, Shiruo Shui's mind quickly calmed down. She took out her phone and made a call, flatly ordering, "Come in." The moment she spoke, 2 tall, burly bodyguards appeared in the restaurant, especially the strong muscles on their arms, which held considerable power. If I took a direct hit from one of those punches, I'd probably be in the hospital for 10 days to half a month. Seeing the 2 bodyguards enter the restaurant, although I was scared, I still gulped and pretended to be calm, saying, "It's fine. 3 against 2, we have the absolute advantage. Victory is ours." Seeing this, Lin Xingyu kindly reminded me, "Look at what your 2 good brothers are about to do." Hearing that, I turned my head suspiciously to look, just in time to see Yang Wei and Da Huang trying to sneak back into the kitchen. After being discovered, Yang Wei sheepishly scratched his head. Suddenly thinking of something, he said, "Oh no, the supermarket is having a sale today. I have to hurry over there to grab some food. Brother Wang, you're on your own." After saying that, he took off running for his life. The aggressive look from before was completely gone. My gaze fell upon Da Huang. I said with a half smile, Da Huang, I usually feed you well and treat you right. You wouldn't desert me in battle, would you? Da Huang's doggy eyes blinked, and he actually came back. Good brother, I knew my love for you wasn't in vain. Later, I'll definitely find you a beautiful female dog. I was incredibly moved. But I quickly realized something was wrong. Da Huang actually walked around me, went up to Shi Ruoshui, and affectionately rubbed his doggy head against her beautiful legs, whining from his mouth, looking extremely obedient. Seeing this scene, Lin Xingyu, who was next to her, couldn't help but burst out laughing. Haha, this dog is too smart. It even knows how to seek fortune and avoid disaster. Shi Ruoshui was also very pleased with Da Huang's attitude, placing her slender, fair hand on his head and said with a bright smile, so obedient. Later, I'll find you a few of the most beautiful female dogs. 2 traitors. It seems I can only rely on myself. I cursed silently in anger, then skillfully assumed a stance. Sensing the hidden power within it, one of the 2 bodyguards narrowed his eyes and said in a serious tone, You've practiced martial arts? Which school are you a disciple of? I snorted coldly and said, I haven't fought anyone in many years. I didn't want to fight you all, but since you're pushing me, fine. Today I will let you see how formidable I am. The 2 bodyguards waited seriously. Even Ji Ruoshui sat up straight, narrowing her eyes, thinking to herself, could this guy have an ace up his sleeve? The next moment, my gaze changed. An aura emanated from my body. My eyes were as cold as icy blades, and every movement exuded an invisible power. Then I turned around and ran. That's right, I turned around and ran. Everyone was stunned. Shi Ruoshui snapped back to reality and furiously yelled at the 2 bodyguards who were still standing there dumbfounded. What are you standing there for? Go after him. But as she spoke, Da Huang was already 1 step ahead of them. Very quickly, before I could even run out from the back door, I let out a miserable scream. Damn it, you stupid dog. Let go of me. If you don't let go, believe it or not, I'll stew you tonight. Woof, woof, woof. What kind of person are you? Don't you know who your doggy big brother is? Playing tricks on others is one thing, but you're playing tricks on me? For your doggy big brother's wife, I'll just have to give you a little something for now. Soon, I was tied up again and thrown into the car. My eyes were filled with grief and indignation. After the car left, Yang Wei also came out from the back kitchen. He and Sister Wang looked at each other and silently took out a sign to hang on the door. It read, The boss has been kidnapped by a rich lady. Reopening time is undetermined. Let's get off work, it's rare to get half a day off. Da Huang, watch the restaurant well. The black Bentley sped along, heading towards the busiest area of Zheng City. Sister, where are you taking me? In the car, I looked at the scenery outside the window, not knowing whether to laugh or cry, feeling uneasy in my heart. This crazy woman isn't going to find some deserted place to bury me, is she? Shi Ruoshui paid no attention to me, sitting on one side with her eyes closed, resting. Very quickly, the car drove through the streets and stopped in front of a lakeside villa. This was a 3-story duplex villa, with an area of at least 1,000 square meters. Behind the villa was a picturesque lake, with willow branches by the shore fluttering in the wind. The air was incredibly fresh. After untying me, although Shi Ruoshui really wanted to devour me right now, she held back thinking that she hadn't had lunch yet. She forcefully grabbed my hand and walked into the villa, ignoring the old butler's surprised gaze. She went to the front of the kitchen and said in a cold voice, Within half an hour, I want to see 3 dishes and 1 soup in front of me. If it doesn't taste good, I'll strip you naked and parade you through the streets, understand? Seeing her cold gaze, how could I dare to refuse? I could only nod my head repeatedly. Entering the kitchen, after familiarizing myself with the equipment, I started to heat oil in the pan. I'm definitely not a coward. I just find it pitiful that she's so hungry. As a qualified chef, how could I bear to have someone starving in front of me? Yes, that's right. While I was cooking, Shi Ruoshui went up to the 2nd-floor bedroom, took a quick hot shower, and changed into a comfortable nightgown. When I carried out a plate of raised eggplant from the kitchen, I happened to see this scene. I saw Shi Ruoshui wearing a black silk nightgown, leaning against a mahogany chair, slippers hanging from her small, jade-like feet. As her toes swayed rhythmically, the slipper also moved gently. Seeing her like this, I gulped, my face blushing slightly. I thought to myself that although this woman is crazy, she is definitely a stunning beauty. Shi Ruoshui, who was sitting bored at the dining table, keenly noticed the slight change in my expression. A teasing smile appeared on her fair cheeks, and she asked playfully, Am I beautiful? I walked over with the tray and placed the 3 dishes and 1 soup on the table one by one. Although I really wanted to say she was beautiful, for the sake of my innocence, I still stubbornly said, The clothes aren't bad, but the person is a bit fat. Hearing this, Shi Ruoshui's eyes immediately turned cold. A cold glint flashed in her eyes, and she directly reached out and forcefully pulled me into her embrace. What do you want to do? I looked at her aggressive eyes, my voice weak. Shi Ruoshui's hands wrapped around my waist, a cold smile playing on the corner of her lips. If you can't control your mouth, I don't mind helping you control it. After saying that, she leaned in for a kiss. While I was still unable to react, she used her soft, fragrant tongue to pry open my teeth. I widened my eyes, wanting to resist, only to see a flash of dissatisfaction in Shi Ruoshui's eyes. A punch landed on my stomach, causing me to groan, losing the strength to resist her soft lips. The kiss on my lips made my heart beat faster. Suddenly, I found myself enjoying this moment a little. After a long while, Shiruo finally let me go, wiping the glistening liquid from the corner of her mouth. A charming smile appeared on her face. Remember, you are my man. Whether it's your body or your soul, they all belong to me. If you dare let anyone else touch you casually, I will lock you in a cage. After warning me, Shiruo stood up to leave, not forgetting to touch my abs once. Her bell-like laughter echoed in the quiet living room. Black lines appeared on my forehead. Brothers, does anyone understand? I accidentally met a crazy woman, and it turns out she's also a pervert. I never expected that I would one day be the one getting harassed. Shiruo held out the chopsticks and said indifferently, I don't want to move my hands, you feed me, you lazy woman. I muttered, but still picked up the chopsticks, picked up a piece of pan-fried pork belly from the bowl and brought it to her mouth. Before she even put it in her mouth, she could already smell the rich aroma. Normally, to be able to serve dishes faster, I often intentionally skip some steps, which makes the dish slightly flawed. But if I'm not at the restaurant, I usually pursue perfection. As she ate the slightly crispy piece of meat, Shiruo face immediately lit up with happiness, clearly very satisfied with the taste of this dish. I must say, this man's cooking skills really suit her taste. The man himself also suits her taste. No matter which it is, she can't stop. Her beautiful legs gently kicked me. I understood her meaning and picked up a piece of braised eggplant. Just like that, the meal ended. After eating her fill, Shiruo walked towards the upstairs bedroom and said without turning her head, You can go home now. Prepare dinner for me tonight. I'll come over to eat. Hearing this, I felt like I had been granted amnesty and happily ran out of the villa, while thinking to myself, she hit me, and still wants to eat the dinner I make, in her dreams. The world is so big, it'll just find some place to hide. Can she really still find me? In front of the second-floor window of the villa, Shiruo watched me run away with a blank expression, a meaningful smile on her lips. Mother Lia's voice came from the phone. I'm telling you, Xiaoshui, are you listening? The Long family is our partner. When you reject that boy Long Aocean, don't be too rude. Also, you must bring a boyfriend home for me this year. Okay, I know. Shiruo impatiently hung up the phone and drew the curtains. The entire bedroom was immediately plunged into darkness. As for me, having just run out of the villa complex, I also received a call from my aunt. I walked along the road and said helplessly into the phone, I'm telling you, Auntie, I really don't want to be in a relationship right now. Can you just let me off the hook this once? My aunt on the other end of the line snorted coldly. I can't be bothered with you. I'm calling to remind you of something. The day after tomorrow is the Qingming festival. Don't forget to come back for a visit, so you can pay respects to your father. Only then did I remember this matter. My nonchalant expression gradually calmed, and I said softly, I know. They'll be back tomorrow. The two of them talked for a while before hanging up. Speaking of my father, my mind kept replaying that night from 5 years ago. A major earthquake occurred in my hometown. More than 800 people died that night. But my family of 3 was lucky enough to survive. But sadly, after barely surviving the earthquake, my father died while waiting in line for food. If no one had cut in line, he wouldn't have starved to death. This is also why my restaurant doesn't allow line cutting. 2 years after my father starved to death, my mother remarried and originally wanted me to go with her, but I refused. I chose to stay at my aunt's house because I couldn't bear calling a strange man dad. Time quickly passed until evening. The black Bentley sped by, heading towards the Chinese restaurant. A moment later, the car slowly stopped by the roadside. Shiruo looked at the closed sign hanging there, waves of bone-chilling cold emanating from her entire body. The bodyguard had never seen the young lady so angry. After hanging up the phone, he carefully approached to report. Mr. Wang's home is empty. We checked the surveillance cameras in the neighborhood. He didn't come back this afternoon. Shiruo smiled, a sickly smile flashing in her eyes. What a lovely man. Is he trying to play hide-and-seek with me? At this moment, because the bodyguard had pried open the main door of the restaurant, Da Huang, who was watching the shop, squeezed out from inside and trotted over to Shiruo side, continuously rubbing his head against her leg. Woof, 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 those 2 bastards dared to lock your doggy lord in the shop alone while they went out to play. Shiruo looked down at him, suddenly remembering something. She squatted down, petted his head, and said with a faint smile, Da Huang? Do you know where Wang Yu ran off to? Woof, 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 Da Huang barked once and then ran across the street. Seeing this, the 2 bodyguards hurriedly gave chase, following behind Da Huang. As for Shiruo she returned to the car and said coldly to the driver, Follow them. In a residential area about a kilometer from the Chinese restaurant. I'll count to 3, take off your clothes right now. Otherwise, you'll make your browser history public. You wouldn't want everyone to know your true self, would you? Brother Wang Yu, please let me go. This is so embarrassing. I really can't take it off. Take off your clothes. I told you to take off your clothes. In the brightly lit living room, Yang Wei finally had to take off his clothes and put on the pink shirt and white bodycon skirt that I bought. Finally, he put on high heels and a wig. The female disguise was complete. I triumphantly took out my phone and took 2 pictures of him. Shaking the phone, I said with a grin, If you dare to sell me out again next time, I will post all the pictures I just took online. Knock, knock, knock. I was halfway through my sentence when a knock came from the door. Interrupted, I frowned in displeasure and turned to open the door, muttering, "Who is it in the middle of the night?" Ruining my fun when I was having a good time. The iron door slowly opened, and what greeted my eyes was an ice-cold face, especially those phoenix eyes, like a sharp sword, piercing straight into one's heart. Seeing Shiruo appear outside the door, I was startled and stumbled back 2 steps in panic, a horrified expression on my face. "How did you find me here?" "Impossible." To avoid being caught on camera, I took several bus trips to circle around to Yang Wei's house. There's no reason I should have been discovered. At this moment, Da Huang squeezed in from behind the 2 bodyguards and barked at me twice. His intelligent doggy eyes were filled with triumph. "Woof, woof, woof! Your doggy lord worked hard to raise you. The moment you took off your pants, I knew what you were up to. You're still too naive. I'm just messing with you." My face darkened. The moment I saw Da Huang, everything became clear. I gritted my teeth and said, "I was so focused on teaching this kidney-deficient guy a lesson that I forgot to deal with this damn dog. I haven't treated you badly, yet you sold me out twice in one day." Meanwhile, Shiruo, standing at the door, looked at the woman in the living room whose back was turned to her, the coldness in her eyes intensifying. In a strange tone, she said with a laugh, "No wonder you paid me no mind. Turns out you were secretly hiding a mistress. But your taste doesn't seem to be very good. Look at those legs and that skin. Tisk, tisk. But it's okay. After I chop her up, it'll all be the same. The fish in the sea will love to eat it." These words scared Yang Wei so much that he hurriedly turned around, covering half his face, keeping his legs together, and said tearfully, "Please don't, sister. It's all just a misunderstanding. I'm a real man. It's really not what you think." A deep male voice rang out. Shiruo and the 2 bodyguards were all stunned, and then they all looked at me with strange eyes. I avoided their gaze, coughed twice, and muttered awkwardly, "Don't look at me like that. My sexual orientation is very normal. Even if I liked men, there's no way I would like this guy." The living room fell into a brief silence, the atmosphere a little awkward. After a long moment, Shiruo finally said coldly, "Take him away." The 2 bodyguards took a step forward, directly hoisted me onto their shoulders, and walked towards the car parked downstairs. Da Huang followed closely behind. Once in the car, the black Bentley headed towards my house. In the dark back seat, Shiruo squeezed my neck with force. Her eyes narrowed, her gaze somewhat dangerous. "It seems the warning I gave you during the day wasn't enough. The men pursuing me could form a line from here to France. What's not good about me? You'd rather be with that ugly guy, be gay, than be with me." Feeling the force on my neck, I refused to be outdone and snorted coldly. "My teeth are strong. I can't eat soft rice. Besides, not counting our childhood, we've only known each other since the day before yesterday at most. You deliberately approached me. Dare you say you don't have some ulterior motive?" Shiruo gave me a cold glance, let go of her hand, and turned her head to look at the scenery outside the window, not looking at me anymore. Very quickly, the car stopped in front of a small 2-story house. The surroundings were all old buildings. There weren't even any streetlights. But the rent was cheap. My home is on the 2nd floor, a small 2-bedroom, 1-living-room apartment. I originally planned to live here with my ex-girlfriend, but she absolutely refused to live in this remote place. So the house has always been empty. After taking out the key and opening the door, I consciously went into the kitchen. As for Shiruo, she stayed in the living room, walked around for a bit, then went into my room. On the wall was still a photo of me and my ex-girlfriend from college. In general, the whole house was quite cozy, and the decor was very simple. When Shiruo came out of the room, the photo on the wall had been torn into many pieces and thrown into the trash. Soon, I came out carrying 2 plates of food, placed them on the table, and walked towards the room, saying without turning my head, "Remember to wash the dishes after you eat. Otherwise, next time, even if you beat me to death, I won't cook for you again." Shiruo narrowed her eyes. "This bastard is threatening me." Because I wasn't there to feed her, Shiruo ate much faster, finishing dinner in less than 10 minutes. Afterwards, she threw the empty bowl onto the table and walked straight into my room. By now, I had discovered the torn photo, but I didn't care. I was planning to throw it away anyway. My ex-girlfriend Li Wei has nothing to do with me anymore. Seeing Shiruo walk in, I was reading a book and said with a frown, "If you want to stay, you can sleep in the other room. Also, remember to knock next time you come in." Perhaps it was because of the topic we discussed in the car, which caused a slight change in my attitude, becoming a bit cold and distant. "We'll talk about next time. Shiruo walked to the bed and sat down. She started taking off her shoes, revealing her delicate jade white feet. Then, while I wasn't paying attention, she quickly got onto the bed, grabbed my wrist tightly, and pinned me down. Like a police officer interrogating a criminal, she asked, "Have you slept with that woman?" That woman, of course, referred to Li Wei. Pinned underneath her, I turned my face away and said with a pout, "That's my business. It has nothing to do with you." Seeing my evasive gaze, Shiruo immediately had her answer. A smile bloomed on her stunningly beautiful face, and she directly kissed me on the lips. A small pill flowed from her mouth into mine. I swallowed it unconsciously, then pushed her away with wide eyes. "What did you make me drink?" "Nothing, just a little pill to make you obedient," Shiruo replied. "This pill is not like the one from the bar. Its effects are very strong, and it's almost instantaneous. Therefore, it's also very expensive, almost only affordable for the rich. My breathing gradually became heavy, my body felt like a furnace that was constantly heating up. But at this moment, Shiruo Shui got off the bed, walking barefoot on the cold floor, looking at me with a calm gaze, her voice slightly cold. The effect of this pill only lasts for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, you will return to normal. If you can endure it, it proves that you truly hate me in your heart. Then I'll never come looking for you again. But the next moment, I rushed towards her. Forget 3 minutes, couldn't even last 3 seconds. I forcefully tore off the clothes on Shiruo Shui, then I took her. A peaceful night passed. A ray of morning sun shone into the room. A gentle breeze rustled the curtains. I, exhausted from the whole night, slowly opened my eyes. Looking at the familiar ceiling, I heard a rustling sound from beside me. I instinctively turned my head to look. My whole body froze instantly. I saw Shiruo Shui wearing only her underwear. She was opening my closet looking for something. That fair and smooth skin on her back was perfect and flawless. Her well-proportioned figure was curvy in all the right places, especially when her hands rummaged through the closet. The tidal waves on her upper body trembled continuously, as if they could break free from their constraints at any moment. Very quickly, Shiruo Shui found in the closet 2 sets of loose clothes and put them on. She turned her head and happened to meet my staring gaze. Annoyed, she picked up the clothes from the floor and threw them over. What are you looking at? Did you rip my dress last night? Hurry up and make me breakfast. Seeing that, I quickly dodged and said with a pout, you drugged me first. It's just a torn dress. At worst, it'll just compensate you for it. This dress of mine was custom made by a master fashion designer from abroad. One dress costs 1 million yuan. Are you sure you want to compensate me? Miss? What would you like for breakfast? After decisively admitting defeat, I started to get up and change my clothes, looking at the black dress from last night that was torn to shreds on the floor by me. The quality of this torn dress is really bad, and yet it's worth 1 million yuan. But as soon as I thought of Shiruo Shui's ferocious appearance last night, I trembled all over and walked out of the room. This woman is too damn fierce. She basically pinned me down the entire time. Truly a female Tyrannosaurus Rex. Leaving the room, considering I have to go back to my hometown to light incense today, I simply fried 2 eggs and heated up 2 glasses of fresh milk, placed them on the table and said casually, I have to go to my hometown today. I probably won't be here for these 2 days. If you want to eat, you'll have to wait until I get back from my hometown. Happily drinking her milk, Shiruo Shui glanced at me and smiled meaningfully. What? You don't hate me anymore? I never hated you. I just hate it when people are nice to me for no reason. It makes me feel very uncomfortable, I replied, although it's only been 2 years since I graduated from college. But ever since my dad passed away, I started working part-time in my free time. I've always believed in one saying, no one will be nice to you for no reason, unless that person is a fool. As for Shiruo Shui, in my eyes, she's not a fool, but more like a mad woman. After all, no one would gamble with their own virginity. But this woman is unbelievably fierce. She forced herself on me twice. Shiruo Shui, sitting opposite me, crossed her long fair legs. When you get back, come home with me to meet my parents. Meet your parents? I didn't even have to think about it. No way, you can beat me to death, but I'm not going. Hearing this, Shiruo Shui's eyes suddenly turned cold. She stood up from her seat and reached out her delicate hand to lift my chin, forcing me to look her straight in the eye. Her cold voice rang out. Buddy, I think you've misunderstood something. Don't think that just because something happened between us, you can defy me. I'm informing you, not asking for your opinion. Understand? Stared at by her cold gaze, I couldn't help but remember how she looked last night, riding on top of me. I gulped and nodded, seeing this. Shiruo Shui finally withdrew her hand. She walked around the table to my side, grabbed my collar with one hand, and kissed me passionately, for a long time until I couldn't breathe. Shiruo Shui finally let me go. She picked up her phone from the table and walked out, saying without turning back, That's your reward. You better be a good boy while you're back home. Otherwise, I'll discipline you many times rougher than last night. Oh right, I just had my secretary transfer you some pocket money. If it's not enough, come find me for more. After she finished speaking, the living room door slammed shut. Almost immediately, my phone received a notification of a money transfer. Your account ending in 9527 has a pending deposit, totaling 10 million yuan. Seeing this message, I clicked my tongue in amazement. These damn rich people, giving away 10 million just like that, that's just too generous. It makes me not want to strive anymore. But I quickly shook my head. A wave of fear washed over me. I scolded myself. No, I can't. I am a real man. How could I live off a woman? If this got out, I'd die of shame. Absolutely not. This detestable woman is too cunning, trying to use this dirty money to corrupt my principles. After finishing breakfast, I quickly cleaned up a bit, grabbed my backpack and car keys, and went downstairs to get ready to go home. On the way to the company, Lin Xinyu sat in the passenger seat reading a report, while Shiruo Shui sat in the back seat, with a somewhat dazed expression, thinking about my reactions. I seem frivolous, but I'm very principled. If I'm too forceful, what if I end up breaking him? This top-tier man is someone I've had my eyes on since we were little. I have to cherish him a little. She glanced at Lin Xinyu, who was reading the report, and suddenly asked, Lin Xinyu, tell me how one can capture a man's heart? Hearing this, Lin Xinyu in the passenger seat replied without looking up, Isn't it just capturing a man's heart? That's simple. Lin Xinyu suddenly looked up and turned to look at Shiruo Shui. She looked her up and down, then said with a complex expression, You've changed. You're no longer the ice goddess, high and mighty that I once knew. If you don't want your entire salary this month to be deducted, then answer my question. Xi Ruoxue's voice was clear and cold. Lin Xinyu pouted and had no choice but to say, isn't capturing a man's heart simple? Especially a principled piece of fresh meat like Boss Wang. Just get him used to your presence, then ignore him, play hard to get, make him realize he can live without you, and that's it. But I have to say, Boss Wang is really handsome. I'm also losing a bit of self-control. Her laughter stopped abruptly midway, because Lin Xinyu was afraid that if she kept laughing, a certain ruthless boss would slice her in half. After warning this infatuated girl, Xi Ruoxue, sitting in the back seat, revealed a thoughtful expression. She carefully pondered the words she had just said, let that damn man become obsessed with me, then ignore him completely. But the problem is he's like an addictive forbidden drug. How can I control myself and not pay attention to him? Longxi City is right next to Jiangcheng City, famous for a 10,000-mile-long stream that looks as majestic as an ancient dragon. Its tourism industry is the most developed. After driving all morning, I looked out the window at the familiar yet strange city. An indescribable feeling welled up in my heart. I felt a little emotional. The car drove through the city and finally entered a high-end villa complex. It stopped in front of a small 2-story villa. Hearing the noise, a woman with her hair in a bun came out from the first floor, wearing an apron and skin-colored stockings. She was clearly about to turn 40, but she hadn't aged a bit. Wang Yu, I've missed you to death. The woman ran straight to me and hugged me tightly, with a joyful expression. Seeing her about to nuzzle her face against me, I quickly pushed her away and said with some disgust, I'm telling you, old maid, you should hurry up and find someone to marry. If this continues, I won't dare to come here again next time. That's right, this woman is my aunt, Wang Xiaoqian, a bona fide leftover woman. She owns a fashion company worth tens of millions. A genuine rich woman. If I wanted to, I could even have been a second-generation rich kid, and I wouldn't have had to work while studying. But unfortunately, I'm too proud. I can't be a freeloader. The next second, a powerful punch landed on my stomach. My eyes widened. I almost threw up last night's dinner. Wang Xiaoqian retracted her fist, put her hands on her hips, and snorted coldly. Dare to call me an old maid again. I guarantee you'll spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. As she spoke, she walked into the villa, saying without turning back, hurry up and come in to eat, knowing you were coming back. I specially made braised pork ribs. I guarantee it'll make your mouth water. I rubbed my stomach and followed her into the villa with a pout. I mumbled under my breath, women are so fickle. One second she says she misses me, the next she delivers a heavy blow. No wonder she can't get married. Unfortunately, this mumble was heard by Wang Xiaoqian, who was walking ahead. Her face immediately darkened. She grabbed a crowbar from beside the door and turned towards me, scaring me so much my face turned pale. I turned and ran for my life. Aunt, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Cut the crap. You're getting hit today. I'll definitely show you why flowers are red. The two of them chased each other around the yard like that. Compared to an elder-relative relationship, it looked more like a sibling relationship. After a while of playing around, the two of them finally went to the dining table and sat down. To start lunch, Wang Xiaoqian placed a piece of rib in my bowl, crossed her long, slender legs, and smiled with great interest. Has your childhood sweetheart come looking for you yet? How far has your relationship with her progressed? Have you done it yet? I almost spat out the rice in my mouth. This woman still talks so boldly. The past is the past. Now is now. We haven't seen each other in years. At most, we're just normal friends now. Hearing this, a hint of disappointment appeared in Wang Xiaoqian's eyes. Her words were full of regret. Well, that's a real shame, you brat. You used to scream about marrying Ruoxue. If we didn't let you two sleep together, you would throw a tantrum. As soon as she said that, I was stunned and asked doubtfully, I'll admit to sleeping together. But did I say I would marry her? When was that? After all, many years have passed. My childhood memories are a bit hazy. I only occasionally remember a few old things. But Wang Xiaoqian looked at me like I was an idiot and said bluntly, Of course you did. Moreover, that girl Ruoxue has always kept this matter in her heart. Otherwise, why would she come all the way back from abroad to find you? Because I'm handsome, of course. Hurry up and eat. After eating, we still have to go buy things for the grave sweeping. The weather is getting hot. We can also buy you some summer clothes. Also, as soon as she opened her mouth, Wang Xiaoqian started nagging non-stop, like a talkative auntie. She couldn't be stopped at all, but I really enjoyed this atmosphere. I listened without feeling annoyed at all. A feeling of happiness gradually welled up inside me. It feels so good to be cared for by others. This is what a family looks like in my heart. After finishing the meal, Wang Xiaoqian went upstairs to change her clothes, while I was responsible for washing the dishes. When I carried the bowls into the kitchen, I saw in the sink a pile of dirty dishes that had been there for who knows how many days. Lines immediately appeared on my forehead. Being so lazy, she deserves not to get married. But what can I do? She's my aunt after all. I can only spoil her, right? After finishing the dishes, a phone call came in. I wiped my hands and took out my phone to look. I was immediately speechless. The contact name displayed was my love. I didn't even have to think to know. This was definitely saved by Xi Ruoxue yesterday. While I was asleep, she even set such a nickname. After thinking for a moment, I still answered the call. I was afraid that if I didn't answer, that crazy woman would probably come straight to my house with a cleaver. As soon as the call connected, a cold voice came from the other end. Why did it take you so long to answer the phone? What are you doing? My whole body shivered involuntarily. I said awkwardly, "Just finished washing the dishes. Is there something you need?" On the other side, on the top floor of the building, Shiruo was lying sprawled across her desk in her office and replied in a slightly lazy voice, "I missed you. We haven't seen each other for almost 4 hours, and you didn't even call to tell me you were safe. Tell me, should I have someone bring you back?" I had no doubt about the truthfulness of her words because this woman was really capable of doing something like that. Kidnapping is illegal. Knowingly breaking the law is an even more serious crime. I'm worried about my boyfriend, so I want to protect him by my side. This is very reasonable, isn't it? Who's your boyfriend? Be careful, I'll sue you for slander. The corners of Shiruoshue's lips curled up slightly. Her tone was casual yet carried a hint of unquestionable authority. Now, right this instant, say something to make me happy. Otherwise, it'll come find you right now. You know the consequences. On this end of the line, I was so angry I was grinding my teeth. If I could actually beat you in a fight, I would definitely make you kneel and sing conquer. In the end, I still gritted my teeth and said, word by word, I like you the most, my love. Although she could feel the overflowing resentment in my tone, Shiruo was in a good mood after hearing it. The smile on her face grew even brighter. Her eyes curved into crescents. She said with uncontrollable excitement, "My damn man is just so adorable. Hurry up and say it a few more times. I still want to hear it." But what she got in response was the sound of the line being disconnected. Looking at the disconnected phone, Shiruo's expression immediately turned cold. A chilling glint appeared in her eyes. This guy actually dared to hang up on me. It seems the level of discipline was still too light. Just then, Lin Jinyu walked in with a stack of documents, smiling and said, "Ruoshue, a new bakery just opened nearby. Let's go." "Deduct 5,000 yuan from your salary," Ruoshue interrupted coldly. The smile on Lin Jinyu's face immediately froze, and she said defiantly, "Why are you deducting my salary?" Hearing this, Shiruoshue simply replied indifferently, "Because you entered the office with your left foot first. Early the next morning, a light drizzle was falling. At the crack of dawn, I was already sitting in the luxury car, worth over 2 million belonging to my aunt. Curiously touching the car left and right, I clicked my tongue and said, 'Damn rich people, auntie. I remember you just got that BMW last year, and this year you're buying such an expensive car again. Is it really okay for you to spend so extravagantly? 2 years after graduating, I've only bought a generic car for less than 100,000. It's not that I can't afford it, it's just that the restaurant has to pay the mortgage every month. Even though Shiruoshue gave me 10 million, I have no intention of using it. It's still the same saying. No one will be nice to someone for no reason. It doesn't cost that much. If you like it, I'll give you this car. I'll go buy a better one. No way. I can't afford the gas and insurance fees. Why is this kid always unable to accept other people's kindness? I'm your aunt, not a stranger." Wang Xiaoqian started nagging again, talking nonstop. The road to the town wasn't far. Plus, with the workers on Qingming Festival holiday in the rain, there were almost no cars on the road. Half an hour later, the car passed through the small town and stopped at the foot of a tall mountain. When I arrived at my father's grave, someone had already been there. It was a middle-aged woman. Her face looked haggard, as if filled with untold sorrow. I stepped forward and called out softly. Mother Liu Li had just finished lighting incense and turned to look. A smile finally appeared on her sorrowful face. "The restaurant at home is still busy. I have to go." Mother Liu left with her umbrella. I watched her receding figure without any emotion, not a single ripple in my heart. I was used to this kind of treatment from my mother. Such a scene makes it hard to imagine that mother and son hadn't seen each other for 2 years, without a single phone call during that time. And when they finally met, it was only a brief encounter before parting ways. Wang Xiaoqian knew Wang Yu's personality, so she didn't try to advise me, but quietly began to light incense. About half an hour later, my aunt and I came down from the mountain and found a black Bentley next to our car. Next to the Bentley, a woman in a flowing black dress stood quietly. Her stunningly beautiful face and that otherworldly transcendent aura made her look like a fairy in the rain. I walked over and saw Shiruoshue, who had suddenly appeared, and asked doubtfully, "Why are you here?" "To have breakfast with you," Shiruoshue said coldly. Hearing that, I was stunned. She specially drove from Jiangcheng to Longxi at the crack of dawn, just to have breakfast with me. Is this woman a fool? Wang Xiaoqian, who was beside me, saw the ambiguous atmosphere between the two of us and immediately guessed something. An auntie-like smile appeared on her face. She directly opened her car door and got in. Something about. She suddenly remembered she had work at the company. "Ruoshue, could you give Xiaoyu a ride back? You two take your time and have fun. I'll be going now." As she spoke, the car started and sped off, but it quickly came back. The car window rolled down. Wang Xiaoqian said cheerfully, "Forgot to say I'm not coming back tonight, so you two don't have to hold back." After Wang Xiaoqian's car was far away, Shiruoshue finally spoke nonchalantly. "Get in the car." I understood and opened the back door to get in, but the next second I saw Shiruoshue also get in, but not on the seat, but straight onto my lap. A faint body fragrance wafted over. "Damn it, what? What do you want to do?" I was startled by her bold action. My heart was pounding. I was about to push her away when a cold voice sounded in my ear. "If you dare to move around, I wouldn't mind doing you right now." Hearing this, I dropped my hands with a pained expression, letting her sit on me. Shiruoshue hugged my waist tightly. Her soft body was almost pressed against mine. We could feel each other's breath. She greedily inhaled the scent on Wang Yu. This familiar scent made it impossible for her to stop. Immediately after, I felt a sharp pain in my neck. I immediately sucked in a cold breath. Damn it. This crazy woman bit me again. Was she born in the year of the dog? After a long while, Shi Ruoshui finally let go in satisfaction. Looking at the bite mark left on Wang Yu's neck, she said with a satisfied smile, "This is the punishment for hanging up on me. Let's see if you dare to hang up on me randomly again. With this mark, you will be my man for the rest of your life." After speaking, Shi Ruoshui nestled into my arms like a little bird, thoroughly enjoying this moment. Not long after, steady breathing came from her nose. She was clearly asleep. Seeing this, the driver observed through the rearview mirror and sighed in relief internally. While driving, he explained in a low voice, "I heard from the butler that the young miss didn't sleep at all last night. Let alone breakfast. She didn't even eat lunch or dinner yesterday. She hasn't had a single drop of water until now. We couldn't persuade her no matter what." After hearing what the driver said, I looked with some surprise at Shi Ruoshui curled up, sleeping soundly in my arms. I suddenly remembered what my youngest aunt said yesterday. Just because of a casual remark from our childhood, she returned from abroad, traveling thousands of miles. Does such a foolish woman really exist in this world? Staring at Shi Ruoshui's stunningly beautiful sleeping face, I couldn't help but let my thoughts wander. But as soon as I thought of her rotten temper, I quickly shook my head. No way, no way. She's already this hot-tempered when we're not even together. If we really got together, wouldn't she be chasing and beating me with a whip every day? The sleeping Shi Ruoshui suddenly frowned. It seemed like she was having a bad dream. She raised her hand and slapped Wang Yu across the face. She unconsciously whispered, "It'll teach you not to listen. You damn man, it'll beat you to death." The true nature of this woman is indeed a madwoman. After that, I didn't go back to my youngest aunt's house. Instead, I told the driver to drive directly back to Jiangcheng. At the same time, I sent a farewell message to my youngest aunt. By the time Shi Ruoshui woke up, what greeted her eyes was Wang Yu's bedroom again. The blanket was filled with his scent. At that moment, I brought in a plate, stir-fried tomatoes and eggs, and a bowl of white rice. I placed it in front of her and said nonchalantly, "Today is the Qingming festival. The supermarket doesn't have many vegetables for sale. We can only eat something simple. Just make do with this for now. Tomorrow we'll make you a couple of sumptuous dishes." Looking at the bowl of hot rice placed before her, Shi Ruoshui, lying on the bed, blinked at Wang Yu. She ordered with righteous indignation, "What are you looking at? Feed me. Do I even need to tell you that?" I was holding the food, glaring at her. "You're not a child anymore. You still need someone to feed you every day. Don't you have hands?" As soon as these words were spoken, Shi Ruoshui narrowed her eyes slightly. She threw off the blanket and lunged at me. Luckily, I reacted quickly and put the food aside in time, avoiding wasting the food. Shi Ruoshui smiled teasingly. "It seems that before eating, I need to properly teach you again about the tone you use when you speak to me." As she spoke, she placed her fair jade-like foot on my face and stomped down hard. It seemed like she was venting her anger. I originally intended to resist, but when I saw that in Shi Ruoshui's hand, she had pulled out a fruit knife from somewhere, I quietly chose to give up resisting. I wouldn't want this stinky foot anyway. Yeah, that's right. I, Wang Yu, am not that kind of person. Come on, open your mouth. In the small but cozy living room, I reluctantly picked up a piece of tomato. Shi Ruoshui cooperatively opened her mouth and ate it with relish. After swallowing, she said calmly, "I've already told my parents. Tomorrow, you'll come with me to meet them, so they stop bothering me when they have nothing better to do." "I'm not going," Wang Yu replied without thinking. A fruit knife was pulled out by Shi Ruoshui. She placed it on the table, full of menace. But this time, I wasn't a coward. I said with an extremely confident smile, "You think this threat still works on me? I bet you won't." Halfway through my sentence, I saw a shadow flash before my eyes. I subconsciously looked down and saw a sharp fruit knife stuck in my crotch. The tip of the knife pierced through my pants and was embedded deep in the chair. In that moment, my back was covered in cold sweat. Shi Ruoshui leaned in closer. She brought her small, slightly cold hand to squeeze my chin. Her phoenix eyes held a teasing look. The corners of her mouth curved into a mocking smile. "What did you just say?" "I don't think I heard you clearly." My expression unchanged, I corrected myself. "Actually, I've been wanting to meet Uncle and Auntie for a while." Hearing this answer, Shi Ruoshui satisfyingly pulled out the knife. She leaned into my ear and whispered, "Honey, this isn't the first time you've gone against my words. My patience has its limits. Next time you better think carefully before you speak. As my toy, you must act like a toy." Feeling for my neck, the sharp sensation of the fruit knife, I swallowed hard. I nodded, trembling. "Big sis, please hold the knife steady. I haven't lived long enough yet." Looking at Wang Yu's trembling appearance, an extreme sense of satisfaction welled up in Shi Ruoshui's heart. She gently lifted his face and gave him a kiss on the lips. Then she said dotingly, "Honey, why are you so adorable? You're about to charm me to death." After lunch, Shi Ruoshui dragged Wang Yu out to the largest shopping mall in Jiangcheng. Since she was taking him home to meet her parents, she definitely couldn't let this damn man go dressed in street stall clothes. About half an hour later, the car arrived at the mall. Entering a luxury brand store, the saleswoman in black stockings was a bit surprised to see the 2 red slap marks on Wang Yu's face. She said stunned, "Sir, your face." I pouted, "It's nothing. Just got bitten by a dog. The next second, my face contorted in pain. I looked down and saw Shi Ruoxue's foot stomping hard on my shoe. This damn man dared to call her a dog. It seems the lesson was still too light. I immediately sucked in a cold breath, didn't dare to resist. With a slightly unnatural expression, I smiled and said, nothing. It's my honor to be stepped on by you. I'm so happy I could die. Watching the two's actions, the saleswoman stood awkwardly to the side. Seeing that they had stopped, she quickly spoke up. Are you two here to choose some clothes? I'll take you to have a look. As she spoke, under the saleswoman's guidance, the two entered the clothing store. Shi Ruoxue directly told the saleswoman, bring out the 10 most expensive men's outfits you have. When the saleswoman heard this, she became excited internally, thinking a big spender had arrived. Yes, I'll get them right away. Please wait over there for a moment. There's free coffee over there. After speaking, the saleswoman quickly went to the nearby clothes rack and quickly made her selection. From the moment Wang Yu and Shi Ruoxue entered the door, she already knew in her head the measurements and clothing sizes of the two, so there was no need to measure at all. As soon as I sat down, I couldn't help but complain. You're such a spendthrift. You really have too much money to burn. Just to meet your parents, you have to spend hundreds of thousands on clothes. This is all money. Shi Ruoxue watched my reaction with interest and said with a smile, it's not your money I'm using. It's not your family I'm bankrupting. I don't even feel the pinch, so what are you feeling sorry about? Or have you already fallen for me, starting to think on my behalf? As soon as these words were spoken, my old face turned beet red. I quickly took a sip of coffee to calm myself down, retorting, what nonsense are you talking about? I'd rather fall for a tigress at the zoo than fall for. A cold gaze shot over. I immediately knew to shut my mouth and didn't dare to continue. If I kept talking, someone would go crazy again. Luckily, at this moment, the saleswoman pushed a mobile clothes rack over. On it hung 10 neat sets of clothes. Shi Ruoxue glanced over the clothes on it, then picked up an ink-black suit and threw it to Wang Yu. She said nonchalantly, take it and try it on. See if it's comfortable. I looked at the price tag and walked towards the fitting room, clicking my tongue. Damn it, a suit like this costs 150,000. That's ridiculously expensive. At this point, I noticed that behind me, Shi Ruoxue was following again. I immediately said warily, I'm changing. What are you following me for? Shi Ruoxue said with a righteous smile. You're changing. So of course I'm here to watch you change. What, is there a problem? Seeing she didn't hide her intentions at all, I cursed her as a female hooligan in my head, but didn't dare to say anything. I walked towards the fitting room again. I've already been slept with, just changing clothes, so whatever. But I soon regretted it. While the saleswoman was checking the prices, she heard noises from the fitting room and immediately blushed and lowered her head. Damn it, you hooligan. I'm changing my clothes. Why are you taking off my pants? Hey, don't touch me all over. By the time the two came out of the fitting room again, Shi Ruoxue walked out first. She took out her bank card and gave it to the staff. He'll take all these outfits. Charge the card. At this moment, I also walked out, my face full of misery. Clearly visible on my neck were several bright red hickeys along with 2 bite marks. This woman was really born in the year of the dog. The next morning, 2 hours before the lunch rush, the Chinese restaurant had already started preparing food for lunch. From the quiet back kitchen came Yang Wei's incredulous voice. What? That bastard went to meet his in-laws and left me alone to run the restaurant? Isn't he screwing me over? Sister Wang, who was in charge of relaying the message, nodded helplessly. She stepped forward and patted Yang Wei's shoulder, sighing. Little Yang, you can do it. The time for you to prove yourself has come. Let everyone see your true strength. After speaking, Sister Wang left the back kitchen, leaving Yang Wei alone and stunned in the kitchen. The Chinese restaurant serves an average of 100 tables per day. Even if each table only orders 3 dishes, that's still 300 dishes. Before it even started, Yang Wei's hands had already begun to tremble. That bastard surnamed Wang really thinks his liver is made of iron. On the other side, I, the main character, was sitting in the little rich woman's black Bentley, happily drinking milk tea, admiring the rapidly passing scenery outside the window. Days without having to wield a ladle are wonderful. Shi Ruoxue was sitting on me, occasionally taking a sip of milk tea from my hand, leaving a bright red lipstick mark on the straw. If it were before, I would definitely have resisted fiercely. But ever since being drugged by this woman, I've become somewhat accustomed to these intimate acts. After all, we've tried so many positions. This is just an indirect kiss. My relationship with Shi Ruoxue now is more than friends, but not quite lovers. Well, I can't say it's not quite lovers either. Compared to a romantic relationship, the two of us are more like bickering enemies now, a somewhat ambiguous relationship. After 2 long hours on the highway, the black Bentley finally exited the highway and arrived at Jinling, the capital city of Jiang province. After driving for another half hour, the surrounding buildings began to thin out. There were more green trees along the road, and the architectural style became increasingly upscale. Passing through a long street, the car didn't stop but continued to drive up a mountain. Seeing this, I pouted and said, "Why aren't we there yet? You're so rich, but your house is in such a remote place?" Shi Ruoxue, lying in my arms, said nothing. Instead, the considerate driver reminded me, "Young Master Wang, we've arrived. This entire mountain belongs to the Shi family. We'll be there after a little more driving." I originally thought that buying an entire mountain to build a manor was something you could only see on TV and in novels, but I never expected that. in real life, someone would actually own an entire mountain. Not long after, the car drove up a high slope and slowly stopped in front of a huge manor. I was dragged into the manor by Shi Ruoshui. The maids and bodyguards on both sides bowed respectfully and said, "Good morning, eldest miss." Shi Ruoshui nodded calmly, already used to it. I was pulled into the villa. I looked around curiously. The inside of the villa was not as magnificent and luxurious as I had imagined. On the contrary, the decor was very cozy. It was all wooden structures. On the living room sofa was a middle-aged couple, happily talking with a young man in a blue suit. This guy must be the trouble Shi Ruoshui mentioned. Long Aoshin, sitting on the sofa, after seeing Shi Ruoshui, a possessive look appeared in his eyes. He had just stood up, intending to go and greet her, but Shi Ruoshui's next words stunned him. She took the initiative to hold my hand and said nonchalantly to the two elders on the sofa, "Dad, Mom, this is my man, Wang Yu, the son-in-law you've been longing for day and night. Uncle, Auntie, long time no see." I greeted them politely. The mother, Yayaxiang, stood up, looking Wang Yu up and down carefully. A smile bloomed on her face. "So it's little Yu. You've grown more and more handsome." As for the father, Shi Cheng, he snorted coldly. "If looks could kill, I would have died 800 times by now." Hearing Shi Ruoshui's words, Long Aoshin felt indescribably jealous. But when he thought that the other party was a poor guy, he immediately regained his confidence. So what if he's handsome? In this world, family background is everything. Ruoshui will definitely choose the more outstanding person, me. Just like that, thinking this, he extended his hand towards me, smiling very politely. "Hello. I'm Long Aoshin, a PhD from Cambridge University abroad. Looking at the outstretched hand, I smiled at him. "I am Ruoshui's boyfriend." A dark line appeared on Long Aoshin's forehead. He gave a forced smile. "My family is in the hotel business, with over 200 chain hotels nationwide, with assets of just a few tens of billions." In response, I laughed heartily again. "I am Ruoshui's boyfriend. I'm also the youngest member of the Huaguo Culinary Association. I am Ruoshui's boyfriend. My master is a 5-star chef, and I was also recognized as one of the 12 heavenly kings of the Huaguo culinary world this year. I am Ruoshui's boyfriend." Long Aoshin's outstretched hand froze. He was so angry he was about to grind his teeth to dust. His eyes, as if spitting fire, stared at the laughing Wang Yu. "Damn it, besides that phrase, can't you say anything else?" Yayaxiang looked at Wang Yu, who had rendered Long Aoshin speechless, and secretly snickered. This kid is still as sharp-tongued as ever. Unable to bear it any longer, Long Aoshin forced a smile, turned and spoke politely to the two elders. "Ah, Uncle Shi, Auntie, yeah, I suddenly remembered I have some urgent matters to attend to at home, so we'll be leaving first. We'll visit you both again next time." After speaking, Long Aoshin turned and left quickly without looking back. If he stayed any longer, he was afraid he'd be provoked by Wang Yu into a fight. Hitting someone was a small matter, but losing his image in front of the Shi family elders was the big deal. Besides, he had never heard that Ruoshui had a boyfriend before. Now that one had suddenly appeared, she must have found him to be a shield. Yes, that must be it. Watching Long Aoshin leave in a huff, Shi Ruoshui patted Wang Yu's shoulder in satisfaction. She rarely gave praise. "Well done. I'll reward you later." Yayaxiang gave her daughter a look. "Well done. You don't even know how to leave someone with a little dignity. All right, let's eat. If we don't eat now, the food will get cold." Soon, I had just walked to the dining table and sat down when a large bottle of white liquor was placed in front of me. I subconsciously looked up. Shi Cheng, sitting opposite me, gave a cold smile. "Kid, you dare to hit on my daughter? You must be prepared to be thrown into the graveyard, right? Is there a possibility that I'm the one being hit on?" Seeing this, Shi Ruoshui said nonchalantly, "Old Shi, what do you think you're doing?" Glancing at his daughter's cold gaze, the doting father Shi Cheng guiltily took back the liquor. He giggled. "Ruoshui, Dad was just helping you test him." "All right, don't you know what kind of person you are? Let me tell you, the man our daughter finally took a fancy to after so much trouble. If you dare to mess things up, don't blame me for dealing with you." Yaxiang looked at her husband with a threatening gaze. Then she smiled and handed me a bowl of rice, saying gently, "Little Yu, just treat this as your own home from now on. Don't mind your Uncle Shi, he's just got a rotten temper." I sighed in relief and raised my hand to take the bowl of rice, only to hear Yayaxiang add with a gentle smile, "If you dare to break up with our Ruoshui, the graveyard will be letting you off easy." I finally know who this crazy woman learned from. This auntie is even more ferocious. After finishing lunch at the XC family's house, I was afraid of being thrown into the graveyard, so I didn't dare to stay long and directly got in the car with Shi Ruoshui to return to Zhengcheng. The daughter is fierce, the mother is even fiercer. Neither is easy to mess with. Luckily, tomorrow Shi Ruoshui is going to work at the company, so I can escape this sea of misery. The car stopped in front of the Chinese restaurant. I was about to open the door to get out when I heard the cold voice of Shi Ruoshui sitting next to me. "Starting tomorrow, you must bring lunch to the company for me every day. 3 dishes and 1 soup. No repeats within a month." I was immediately unhappy and mumbled, "It's not like you don't know how busy my restaurant is at noon. How would I have time to bring you food?" Hearing this, Shi Roshue reached under the seat and fumbled around. Then she pulled out 2 questionable books. When I saw the book covers, I cursed out loud. Damn it, I hid them so well. How did you find them? Shi Roshue teasingly flipped through the book in her hand, crossing her long, snow-white legs, and smiled meaningfully. Honey, you wouldn't want the fact that you read dirty books to get out, would you? I never would have thought that you, who usually looks so honest, would like to look at this stuff. My face flushed red, and I was about to step forward to snatch it back when I saw Shi Roshue shoot me a cold glare. I had to cough lightly twice and say, someone else gave these to me. It'd be a pity to throw them away. It's really not that I like to read them. Oh right, bringing lunch, was it? No problem, leave it to me. I, Wang Yu, love nothing more than helping others. As I spoke, I pushed open the car door and slipped away. I thought to myself, I've lost so much face this time. My image is completely ruined. After I left, the car started up again and headed towards the Kongmeng branch in Jiangcheng. As for Shi Ruoxue, she was full of interest as she held the book in her hand. Looking at the girls in the book wearing black stockings, long legs, and crystal high heels, plus a pair of glasses, exuding an intellectual vibe, a thoughtful expression appeared on her face. She thought to herself, so this damn man likes this style, huh? I can try it out someday. When I entered the restaurant, the lunch rush was already over. There were only a few scattered tables of customers eating. Sister Wang was settling a bill. Seeing me return, she smiled and said, Boss, you're finally back. Maybe because of the Qingming festival yesterday, customers were craving our food, so it was very crowded for lunch today. It wore out little Yang. Hearing that, I curiously went into the back kitchen to take a look. I saw Yang Wei lying on the ground, barely breathing, exhaling more than inhaling. Beside him, Da Huang was wagging its tail, continuously whipping his face. What are you doing lying on the ground? Your master dog hasn't had lunch yet. Hurry up and stew 2 big bones for me. Yang Wei struggled to push it away, saying weakly, Da Huang, stop messing around. Let me leave this world in peace. Seeing this scene, I knocked on the back kitchen door. I said helplessly, I was only gone for half a day. Did you have to be like this? Seeing the culprit who exhausted him appear, Yang Wei immediately snapped to his senses. He scrambled up from the ground, rushed forward, grabbed Wang Yu by the collar and said angrily, You brat! You still know the way back? Damn it, I have to give you a 1,000 yuan bonus today, I said with a deadpan expression. Damn, what are you thinking for just a 1,000 yuan bonus? The next second, Yang Wei's angry expression changed. As gentle as water, he helped Wang Yu fix his messy collar. A fawning look appeared on his face. Long live the boss. With these words from you, forget about enduring this little bit of hardship. Even if you told me to take my brother and stew Da Huang, it wouldn't be a problem. When Da Huang heard this, his face immediately turned ferocious. He bared his sharp teeth and bit him directly on the butt. Very quickly, Yang Wei was chased all over the place by him, relentlessly begging for mercy. The customers in the restaurant watched with amusement on their faces. I remembered something and said to Sister Wang beside me, Sister Wang, post a job ad online. Our restaurant should hire another chef. Otherwise, if we keep going like this, we'll definitely work ourselves to death. Because the restaurant uses smart robots to take and deliver orders, we basically don't need any wait staff. I couldn't help but sigh. Sometimes having too much business is also a crime. Noon the next day. There wasn't an empty seat in the Chinese restaurant. The atmosphere was incredibly lively. Boss, another plate of beef salad. Give me a plate of braised pork knuckle. I want a serving of hot and sour shredded potatoes. Compared to the bustle outside, the soundproofed back kitchen was very quiet. There was only the sound of the roaring fire and stir-frying. Seeing that it was about time, I turned off the stove, grabbed the prepared lunchbox, and went out the back door. Keep it up, little Yang. I'll give you a raise later. At this point, Yang Wei was working so hard his eyes were red. He had all 3 stoves going at once, multitasking 3 things at once. Burn on, my little universe. The Kongmeng group wasn't far from the Mu Yi restaurant. But because it was the lunch rush hour, I still had to drive for half an hour to get to the building. Looking up at the skyscraper, I exclaimed in amazement, then carried the lunchbox inside. But as soon as I entered, the receptionist spotted me and stopped me. Looking at Wang Yu's handsome face, the female receptionist asked gently, Hello, who are you looking for? Do you have an appointment? I scratched my head and said, My name is Wang Yu. Your CEO Shi told me to bring her lunch. She must have informed you, right? The female receptionist looked doubtful, clearly knowing nothing. Luckily, at that moment, Lin Xingyu walked out of the elevator. She tossed a pass to Wang Yu and said with a giggle, Little brother Wang, are you bringing lunch for me? As she spoke, feeling hungry, she was about to snatch the lunchbox from Wang Yu's hands, but he dodged her with a deadpan expression. It's not for you, it's for your boss, Secretary Lin. Sister Lin, do you two know each other? The receptionist asked curiously. Lin Xingyu nodded, pointed at the pass in Wang Yu's hand and said with a faint smile, This is our CEO Exisman. From now on, just let him pass when you see him. The moment these words were spoken, not only the receptionist, but even a few employees passing by stopped in their tracks, their eyes wide open, their mouths agape, looking as if they'd seen a ghost. Their cold and aloof goddess CEO Exi actually has a boyfriend? Unable to stand these gazes, I said a quick goodbye and quickly headed for the elevator. I'm busy delivering lunch. You all can talk amongst yourselves. Lin Xingyu watched his fleeing figure and clicked her tongue. It seems our CEO Exius man is a bit shy. He really has the air of a little puppy dog, a cute young man. In the CEO's office, Shi Ruoshui was quickly reviewing the documents in her hand, then correcting and signing them, and neatly placing them aside. At this moment, the office door opened. There was no knock. This made Shi Ruoshui, who always valued rules, frown deeply. She looked up, preparing to teach this disrespectful person a lesson, but when she saw it was Wang Yu, the dissatisfaction in her heart immediately vanished. Her man was an exception. I walked in and placed the lunchbox directly on her desk, saying with a pout, "Here's the lunch you wanted me to bring. The restaurant is still busy. I'm leaving. Just leave the lunchbox here when you're done. I'll pick it up tomorrow." After saying that, I turned to leave. Suddenly, a whooshing sound came from behind me. A folder flew past his ear and hit the wall with a thud. "Damn it, what are you doing?" Luckily, I reacted quickly. I yelled angrily at Shi Ruoshui. Hearing this, Shi Ruoshui looked back down at her documents, her voice cold. "It was nothing. My hand slipped." "You can go." My hand slipped. The corner of my mouth twitched. "Your hand slipped and you managed to slide a folder to a wall over 10 meters away?" "Yeah, right. Who are you kidding?" She was clearly aiming at me. Helpless, I had no choice but to walk back, pull up a chair, and sit down next to her, then took out the chopsticks from the lunchbox. Just as I was about to feed her, I heard Shi Ruoshui say coldly, "I want to have soup first." Wang Yu took the thermal container from the bottom layer, which contained the egg drop soup, and passed it over. Shi Ruoshui didn't move, still looking down at her documents. Seeing this, how could I not guess what this lecherous she-wolf was thinking? I could only grit my teeth and take a sip, holding the hot egg drop soup in my mouth and moving towards her red lips. But just as I made a move, I saw Shi Ruoshui reach out and hold my head, sucking all the soup out of my mouth. Then, looking unsatisfied, she licked the corner of her mouth with her fragrant tongue. The taste isn't bad. Whether it was the taste of the delicious soup or the taste of Wang Yu that was delicious, nobody could know. After that, she took the lunchbox and ate by herself. At the same time, she took off her high heels, revealing her small feet wrapped in black stockings, and placed them on my lap. Her tone left no room for doubt. "Massage my feet. You can't leave until I'm comfortable." Tisk, how unreasonable and tyrannical. I complained under my breath, but still obediently lifted her pair of black-stockinged, jade-like feet on my lap and began to massage them. Her jade-like feet were wrapped in silk stockings, the touch delicate, soft, and smooth, like a work of art meticulously crafted by God. Very quickly, a portion of braised pork and white rice had all entered Shi Ruoshui's mouth. Only then did she satisfactorily take a napkin to wipe the grease from the corner of her mouth, pulled back her long black-stockinged legs, and slipped her high heels back on from under the desk. I felt a little regretful, but it absolutely wasn't because I wanted to massage them a little longer. It was just that I saw Shi Ruoshui was too tired and wanted to help her relax a bit. Yes, that's right. I, Wang Yu, am a man of integrity. How could I be a pervert who likes massaging jade-like feet in black stockings? Well, I'm leaving then. I stood up to leave. Just then, Shi Ruoshui noticed something and called me back. "Wait, come here. What is it now?" I walked over, puzzled. Then Shi Ruoshui suddenly opened her arms and hugged me, pulling me tightly into her embrace, greedily inhaling the scent on my body. Just when I thought she was only going to hug me, a sharp pain shot through my neck. It hurt so much that he had to suck in a sharp breath. "Damn it, what are you doing? Biting me again?" I clutched the bite mark on my neck, took 2 steps back, grimacing in pain. Shi Ruoshui licked the corner of her mouth with her small, seductive tongue and said lightly, "The mark I left on you is about to fade, so I'm adding another one. Is there a problem? You're such an obsessive woman." I grabbed the empty lunchbox from the table and stormed out of the office. This woman must have been born in the year of the dog. She wants to take a bite every time she sees him. Shi Ruoshui rested her chin on her hand, watching his departing figure, her soft pink lips curled up slightly, revealing a faint smile. In a voice only she could hear, she whispered, "This adorable reaction is expected of the masterpiece of a man I chose. My little Wang Yu, don't even think about escaping from my palm in this lifetime." After delivering the lunch, I returned to the restaurant. The customers had almost all left. Seeing me return, Sister Wang looked up and reminded me, "Boss, you left without your phone earlier. Your youngest aunt called, but no one answered." Hearing that, I realized I had left in a hurry and forgotten my phone. I hurried behind the counter to get my phone, and sure enough, there was a missed call. I tapped the screen to call back. The phone rang twice before connecting. Wang Xiaoqian's resentful voice immediately came from the other end. "Little you, are you getting arrogant? You won't even answer your youngest aunt's call. Are you trying to rebel?" I quickly laughed to appease her. "Oh, my dear youngest aunt, I was just busy earlier. You're so kind. Surely you wouldn't hold it against me, right?" Don't give me that useless talk. There's something I forgot to tell you before. When you broke up with your ex-girlfriend, Lin Yue, did she give you the bank card?" Hearing that, I was stunned and asked doubtfully, "What bank card?" On the other end, Wang Xiaoqian was also stunned, then explained, "When you opened the restaurant, I was afraid you wouldn't have any spending money. But you refused to take my money, so I gave a bank card to Lin Yue and told her to help you out in her name. I transferred 20,000 yuan into it every month. When you two broke up, she didn't tell you?" These words left me bewildered. In the 2 years after graduation, not only did Lin Yue not spend any money on me, I was the one who had to give her 3,000 yuan in living expenses every month, but my youngest aunt wouldn't lie to him. So where did this 20,000 yuan a month go? At this moment, the restaurant door was forcefully pushed open. A swaggering figure walked in. With dyed blonde hair, he had the appearance of a street punk. "You, surnamed Wang, get the hell out here," this loud noise immediately attracted the attention of the customers in the restaurant. Wang Yu naturally recognized this person as Lin Yue's younger brother and immediately frowned. He said to the other end of the line, "Youngest aunt, I have something to do. I can't talk anymore. I'll call you back later." After saying that, I hung up the phone and stood up from behind the counter. Just then, Lin Yue also walked in, following behind Lin Mingjie. Wang Yu frowned at her and said sternly, "What are you doing here? I remember we already broke up." Before Lin Yue could open her mouth to speak, Lin Mingjie grabbed an empty wine bottle from a nearby table, pointed it at Wang Yu and said angrily, "You, surnamed Wang, you played with my sister's feelings for 5 years. If you don't give me 100,000 yuan today, I'll smash up your restaurant and make it impossible for you to stay open." The other customers eating saw that the situation was bad and immediately slipped away, afraid of getting caught in the crossfire. Because the back kitchen door was open, Yang Wei heard that someone wanted to trash the place and secretly peeked his head out to look. After confirming it wasn't the bodyguards from 2 days ago, he finally rushed out with a cleaver. "Damn it, you dare come to my territory and cause trouble. I see you're tired of living." Wang Yu put out a hand to stop him. Ignoring Lin Mingji, he looked at Lin Yue standing behind him and said with a frown, "Lin Yue, aren't you going to give me an explanation?" Lin Yue stood forward resolutely, her tone almost begging, "Wang Yu, just give me the 100,000 yuan. My brother borrowed from a loan shark. If he doesn't get 100,000 yuan today, they'll cut off Mingji's hand." Hearing these words, I laughed. Without holding back, I sneered, "Your face is thicker than a city wall. We have no relationship whatsoever now. That's your brother? On what grounds should I spend money to help him? Because your face is thick enough?" Lin Yue felt extremely ashamed being told this, and couldn't help but feel a surge of anger, screaming at me. "I was with you for 5 years. You wasted 5 years of my youth. So what if you take out some of your dirty money to help my brother?" Amused by the shameless woman, Yang Wei retorted, "Your 5 years were your youth, so Wang Yu's 5 years weren't his youth. I'm telling you, your face is really thick. You still haven't found a job 2 years after graduation, just freeloading off Wang Yu all day, spending Wang Yu's money. Now that you've broken up, you're lucky he's not asking for his money back, and you still have the nerve to demand money?" Lin Yu wanted to argue back, but couldn't think of anything to say. In her mind, Wang Yu was her boyfriend. So what was wrong with spending a little of his money? A boyfriend spending money on his girlfriend? Isn't that a matter of course? At this point, Lin Mingji couldn't sit still any longer. He threw the beer bottle in his hand straight at Yang Wei. "Damn it, this is between us and that guy surnamed Wang. Is it your place to interfere?" The beer bottle drew an arc through the air. In that moment of surprise, Yang Wei instinctively closed his eyes. He only heard the sound of the bottle shattering, along with Sister Wang's terrified voice. "Boss, are you okay?" Yang Wei opened his eyes, only to discover that Wang Yu had shielded him. Bright red blood was flowing from his head. Old Wang, if it were an ordinary person, they would have already fallen to the ground screaming in agony. But I maintained a deadpan expression, as if I felt no pain. I turned back to look at Lin Mingji again, took a bank card from my pocket and threw it over. I said coldly, "There's 100,000 in this card. I was originally saving it for our wedding. If you want compensation from me, then take it." Hearing this, Lin Mingji happily took it. Yang Wei and Sister Wang both looked at Wang Yu's actions with confusion, not understanding why he did that. At this point, I looked over at Lin Yue again. A cold glint appeared in my dark eyes, causing her to shiver involuntarily. Faced with this cold gaze, she subconsciously avoided it. Then she heard me continue in a cold voice, "Your business is settled, so next, we should settle mine." Hearing this, Lin Mingji frowned. "What do you mean?" I sneered. "Lin Yue, 2 years ago my youngest aunt gave you a card. She transferred 20,000 into it every month, and now it should be about 480,000, right? She originally told you to give it to me, but you hid it and used it yourself, not spending a single cent on me. Old Yang, tell me, if this went to court, what would the sentence be?" Yang Wei, who was beside me, immediately understood my meaning, a sinister smile appearing on his face. Just as he was about to speak, he thought for a moment and still took out his phone to search, then he spoke. "That money belongs to your youngest aunt, Lin Yue. Your actions are no different from theft. In court, you would be sentenced to more than 10 years in prison. Plus, over the past 5 years, you've spent at least 200,000 of Wang Yu's money. It's possible you could be sentenced to life." Hearing Wang Yu mention this, Lin Yue's face instantly turned deathly pale. She never expected Wang Yu to already know about this. Originally, she planned to take this 100,000 yuan and find a place to hide so that even if Wang Yu wanted to find her, he couldn't. But she never expected him to know already. Lin Mingji turned his head to look at her doubtfully. After seeing her pale face, he immediately understood that what Wang Yu said was probably all true. But asking him to give up the 100,000 he was holding was absolutely impossible. "This is between you and her. It has nothing to do with me." Lin Mingjie, without the slightest hesitation, chose to abandon his own sister and walked straight out of the restaurant. Lin Yu also didn't expect that her brother would abandon her so decisively and felt even more panicked. She was still so young, she didn't want to spend the rest of her life in prison. After Lin Mingji left, I gave a meaningful look to Yang Wei beside me. He immediately understood and nodded, took the cleaver in his hand and snuck into the back kitchen. My money, Wang Yu's money, isn't that easy to take. Wang Yu, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please don't sue me, okay? Lin Yue rushed forward and grabbed my arm, her eyes pleading, looking pitiful. Remembering something, a glimmer of hope rekindled in her heart, and she said with expectant eyes, "That's right, I forgive you. Let's get back together. Just like before, I will love you even more, okay?" If this were before, after hearing these words, I probably would have been too happy to sleep all night. But now, I shook off Lin Yue's hand and said coldly, "You reap what you sow. I see through it all now. You never really liked me at all. For the past 5 years, you took my youngest aunt's money, satisfying your vanity everywhere, but you never even bought me a single set of clothes. Get out, go home and wait for my lawyer's letter. People always have to pay the price for their mistakes." Lin Yue wasn't about to give up. She still wanted to try her luck. I yelled straight into the back kitchen, "Da Huang, see the guest out!" Da Huang rushed out from the back kitchen, and upon seeing Lin Yue, charged straight at her, baring his sharp teeth. If she got bitten, a chunk of flesh would definitely be torn off. Lin Yue was so scared she turned and ran. You stay away, you beast! You dare bite me?" Da Huang chased closely behind, occasionally taking a snap at Lin Yue's butt. This scene was truly satisfying to watch. In the messy restaurant, Sister Wang found some gauze to bandage Wang Yu. After seeing my wound, she frowned and said, "Boss, your skin is broken. I'm afraid you'll need to go to the hospital for a few stitches. Just let little Yang watch the shop this afternoon. You should go to the hospital to get your wound treated." "Okay, then I'll leave the restaurant to you and Yang Wei." Wang Yu wasn't stubborn. He waited for Sister Wang to finish bandaging the wound, then went outside. At the same time, on a street not far from the restaurant, an excited Lin Mingji tightly gripped the bank card in his hand, walking as if on air. With this 100,000 yuan, he could pay off his debts and wouldn't need to have his hand chopped off. As for Lin Yue, what the hell did she have to do with him? If Lin Yue knew that the brother she always defended had such thoughts, she would probably be angry enough to cough up blood. Just as Lin Mingji was passing an alley intersection, his vision suddenly went dark, and his knee was struck by something hard, causing him to scream in pain. "Which blind bastard, do you know who I am? You dare lay a hand on me? Who else could the attacker be but Yang Wei?" He threw a urea sack over Lin Mingji's head, then dragged him straight into a dark alley nearby to avoid being seen by others. Then, he mockingly held up a large bone that he stole from De Huang's kennel and smashed it down on his head. "Aren't you so tough? Let's see you be tough now." A series of heavy blows rained down on Lin Mingji's head, causing him to roll around and scream in agony. Especially the strong, pungent smell from the urea sack almost made him throw up last night's dinner. After a long while, he finally begged for mercy. "Great hero, spare my life. I was truly wrong." After all, Yang Wei had been following Wang Yu and training with the wok for so long, the large bone in his hand swung with great power, each blow carrying a fierce whistling sound. Then, a series of gradually agonizing screams followed. Lin Mingjie, inside the sack, became completely still. Seeing this, Yang Wei opened the sack and saw the guy who was previously so arrogant and showy. The arrogant Lin Mingji, who looked down on everyone, was now lying on the ground, bruised and battered. A smell of urine rose from underneath him. This young master hasn't even gotten serious yet, and he already couldn't take it. Yang Wei whistled as he walked out of the alley. Time quickly passed until dusk. After getting off work from the company, Shi Ruoshui, who had been busy all afternoon, couldn't wait to go to the Chinese restaurant, ready to get her fill of Wang Yu's energy. Despite the chaotic scene at noon, by evening, the customers were still flocking in endlessly. Inside the restaurant, Sister Wang was entering the menu into the ordering machine for the back kitchen. At this moment, Shi Ruoshui walked in. Seeing that she was about to go into the back kitchen, she quickly spoke up to stop her. "Miss Shi, the boss took the night off. Didn't he tell you? Took off?" Shi Ruoshui frowned and turned around, asking suspiciously, "Then where did he go?" Seeing that she really didn't know, Sister Wang then recounted how Lin Yue came and caused trouble in the afternoon. Especially when she mentioned Lin Mingji throwing the wine bottle, her expression became even more furious. This family is truly shameless. They've already broken up, yet they still forced the boss to give him 100,000 yuan. Upon hearing that Wang Yu was injured, Shi Ruoshui's pupils contracted. Waves of bone-chilling cold air immediately emanated from her body. She quickly turned and left the restaurant. Arriving at her car, she directly told the driver to get out and then got into the driver's seat herself. Then she rolled down the car window and commanded the driver in an ice-cold voice, "Go check the surveillance cameras. I want to know what happened here this afternoon." After speaking, Shi Ruoshui slammed on the accelerator. The black Bentley shot forward, daring to touch her, Shi Ruoshui's man. Even she herself couldn't bear to hit him, yet someone dared to injure him. In the old two-story house, I had stitched up my wound and was sleeping in bed. In the pitch-black room, I was completely unaware of the sound of a door opening coming from the living room. Immediately after, the bedroom door was opened. The sound of high heels clicking echoed in the room. Then, while I was fast asleep, I felt my body sink down. Groggy, I opened my eyes and saw Shiroshue sitting on top of me. I rubbed my sleepy eyes, grumbled with dissatisfaction. What are you doing in the middle of the night? Shiroshue ignored me as she sat on top of me. She reached out and gently stroked the bandaged wound. Her gaze grew colder and colder. After a long moment, she questioned me coldly. Why didn't you report to me immediately when you got hurt? Stared at by her sharp gaze, I was like a child who had done something wrong. I subconsciously averted my gaze, muttering softly, "What kind of relationship do we have that I have to tell you when I get hurt?" But this very sentence completely enraged Shiroshue. She clenched her fist tightly, then reached out one hand and squeezed my neck tightly. "Fine, I'll show you right now what kind of relationship we have." As she spoke, she leaned down and kissed me. Her passionate red lips tightly covered mine while brutally tearing off my clothes.